Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second installation of the Lee and Chris podcast. This is, of course, your boy Lee.
And this is Chris, 68 views and counting.
Yeah, who's also your boy. And today we have I guess you can consider it a sensitive topic. We're going to be discussing the shooting death of Michael Brown. And we discussed this for about an hour before we started today. And we weren't quite sure what to say about it or how to say it because we're trying to tread carefully.
I mean, the one thing is, there's a lot to read, but not much to go on.
Yeah.
Like, there's all these witness accounts that are saying one thing, another one is another way completely, and they won't release the cops' fucked up face. They won't pretty much, oh yeah, and there's no dash cam. That's what I can't believe.
We just found that out.
Cam.
We just watched a video of his friend who was with him. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Dorian Johnson.
Dorian Johnson. I guess he said he turned the car sideways, blocking the road, and then that's why, of course, that there's no dash cam footage. And I was wondering why there wasn't. So, of course, now it's going to be the officer's word, which we haven't heard his version of the story yet. I mean, we've heard it from people who have said they've spoken to him, but we haven't heard the story in his own words, and it's going to be his word versus the witnesses in the community in the street he was killed in.
And as far as the community is concerned, he gunned him down for no reason. So, I mean, even if all the facts came out and it made it look like it was a totally justified shooting,
it wouldn't matter.
That cop is screwed. I mean, either way, they're saying that the grand jury testimony should be finished, or like the evidence given to the grand jury should be finished, hopefully mid-October.
Right.
So, as far as placing your bets go, I think when October shows up, they're probably just going to say it was a good shooting, and this guy's just going to disappear.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately what's going to happen.
Or he's going to go the route of Zimmerman and not disappear and just have his life ruined for the rest.
Yeah, I think George Zimmerman's, I think he's homeless now.
Is he?
That's what I heard, yeah.
I heard, like, after that, like, he got pulled over, and then there was a domestic disturbance later on. Or like, the cops were fucking with him for a while afterwards.
They kept pulling him over.
Something like that.
So this all started Saturday, August 9th. Now, we've seen the footage of Michael Brown and his friend Dorian Johnson. I guess they called it strong-arm robbery.
It looked like he just snatched some cigars.
Well, that's what Al Sharpton said. He said, he didn't see a robbery. He saw a kid shoplifting, which... you're crossing a gray line. And, okay, so shoplifting's okay.
Come on, Al Sharpton.
Why was traffic problems email sent?
Yeah, so Al Sharpton considered it shoplifting, but the police and most law enforcement institutions consider it a strong-arm robbery because he actually did physically assault the man, and you could see him clearly. It's clearly him and his friend, and he reaches behind the counter and he grabs the cigars. What brand were they, did you say?
Swisher Sweets.
Swisher
They're
Sweets.
75 cents a pack.
Yeah, so this kid, ultimately, they say that the robbery and the shooting were two separate incidents, and I think they were. And then I've seen mixed reports.
That's the other thing. Sorry to stop you, but this guy wasn't super cop. He didn't hear the robbery and know it was him. He just heard of the robbery. He was aware of it, and he noticed the cigars. But like, he's not like, oh, this guy did it, and it had nothing to do with that. It had nothing to do with they found marijuana in his system afterwards, because I doubt potheads usually don't fucking fight the police. Or if he even did fight the police, you can't even tell right now. That's the problem. As far as I'm concerned, you can't really make a real good decision based on any evidence because it's all going and pointing in different directions.
Yeah, and the Ferguson Police Department,
and another thing before we move any further, fuck race. Not looking at this as a racial issue, just like straight up.
But I mean, everybody in his community is, though. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard. It's hard not to.
And the media loves pushing race issues.
Well, just if it was a black cop that shot him, we would have never heard the name Michael Brown. It would be a non-issue.
It would be a story, but I don't think
it would be a local story. It wouldn't be a national story. Just like I don't think Trayvon Martin should have been a national story. I mean, they if it was, I mean, how many black people kill other black people in like Chicago? I can't name one of them.
Chicago's the worst.
Yeah, that's the thing. The media they see something like this and they're gonna they're salivating dogs because this fits their narrative. The white cops kill black kids.
Yeah, not to mention the same parallels with the Trayvon Martin thing. Yeah. They keep showing pictures of like Michael Brown in his graduate gown or whatever. The same way they showed like pictures of Trayvon that was like he looked like old. He wasn't like he looked not even as tall as a fucking doorknob.
Yeah,
when
like
really he was pretty tall.
Yeah,
or big enough to beat the shit out of someone.
He was beating George Zimmerman's ass.
Yeah.
He was a big fat guy. But yeah, I mean, the Ferguson Police Department handled this probably about as bad as anybody could. I mean,
well, the county took over like overnight too. That's the other thing.
And right from the get-go, like I understand, like the first complaint was they left his body out in the street for something like 3 hours. I think his body was out there, and like you could see the blood pouring from his head.
That video was real. Then.
That's real. That was him sitting there. Yeah. And that was the first complaint, was that they kept him out there for like 3 hours. They didn't cover him up until, almost until... And then they didn't even put him in an ambulance at the end. They put him in the back of a police SUV.
Again, I'm saying the whole fuck race angle, because, like, something about this whole thing is fucked up. And it's not just race.
Why
would you leave a dead body out there for 3 hours?
Well, my thinking, and what I've heard some of the people who defend the police, is that they can't disturb the body at all until an examiner gets there, which makes sense to me. But it had to sit there for 3 hours. Yeah, you couldn't get a guy there. Like, you got to think of the situation where it happened. You got to get somebody there. Come on.
Yeah, close it off. Or, cover it up.
They covered him up eventually, but I mean, you saw the video. I think he was laying out there in the open, and you could see the trail of blood pouring from his head.
Yeah.
It was gruesome. It was a horrible video, dude. You heard his mother screaming in the background, and it was awful. It really was.
The weird thing. Oh shit! Trail of blood. Who knows? Maybe they could have moved the body. I don't know. Like I said, there's so much shit that I don't know, and a lot of people that are reporting this shit don't know.
Yeah.
And you can't make a decision, and whatever decision you make, it's being forced upon you by whoever's fucking opinion that they're tossing.
Right. And I guess now the friend who was with him, the friend who was also with him, Dorian Johnson, when he robbed the convenience store, was with him when the cop initially... I guess it started... He was walking down the middle of the road, which I don't know why you would do that, but I believe that he was.
It was probably like a really dead street.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's done that.
And I think from what I saw that the cop knew of the robbery, he knew what was stolen, and he had a witness
identify him. Like I said before, he wasn't super cop. He knew of the robbery. He was aware that it happened, but it was really just these people are walking in the road, and just please move to the sidewalk. But according to Dorian Johnson, it wasn't. Could you take it over the sidewalk, please?
Yeah.
It was get the fuck out of the road, and
those were the exact words that he said that the cop said to him.
Yeah.
I don't know about that though.
So
why would you do you really believe that a police officer would? I don't know. Maybe they would initiate a situation that automatically be that hostile? I have a hard time believing that.
I mean, like I've had really nice conversations with cops, that were even warnings. Like I was driving around this road, and it's like a windy, narrow road.
Yeah.
I went a little too fast around the corner, and oh shit, there's a cop.
Yeah, of course.
He slows down. He rolls down his window. I roll down mine, and he just goes, "You might want to watch it around this corner because people don't really look. Yeah. So just watch yourself." And he could have been like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, what the fuck do you think you're doing?
He could have written me up.
Yeah.
But he just let me off with a warning, just saying, "Don't do that."
So, I guess they were walking down the middle of the street. The cop pulls up to him, tells him to move to the center, or move the fuck to the center, whatever the hell he says. And I guess it immediately this is when the gray area kicks in.
Yeah.
Because there's a story where there was a struggle in the car. The police officer tried to open his door. The police officer's name is Darren Wilson, by the way. But Darren Wilson opens the door, and then that Dorian Johnson says that they were so close to him that they immediately closed the door back in on him. And Chris, you think that's where he suffered the eye injury that was reported?
Yeah, maybe the corner of the door hit him in the face.
It could have, if he was trying to get out when that happened.
Now, if you get hit in the face, and if it broke his eye socket,
yeah.
It's a head injury, so who knows? He might have got confused. And,
right.
Well, first off, you get hit in the head, you're pissed off immediately.
Yeah, he's going to be angry.
And if that caused it, he might have thought that they did that on purpose or something like that, or he pushed the door back on him, and that's why he decided to use lethal force.
I'll tell you what, dude.
Or he punched him. I don't know. Or maybe it was just a big fucking misunderstanding.
That's the other thing. And then it's like they close the door back on him, and then there's a reported struggle for the officer's gun, and that's when he's supposed to have been shot the first time.
And this struggle was supposed to happen like inside the car.
Inside the car is
so
how I understand
the
it.
The cop was sitting, and he's going after the guy. Another fucking parallel to the Trayvon thing.
The Dorian Johnson said that the officer reached from his car as he was sitting and tried to grabbed Michael Brown by the throat. Which, if you look at the heights of the height of the officer,
he's 6'4".
Yeah,
he could grab him, give him a titty twister, but he can't fucking.
He could grab his nip, maybe.
Yeah.
Or he could have grabbed him by the arm or the clothes, like the shirt, but I don't think he grabbed his throat. And the coroner didn't report any kind of markings on his neck or anything like that. So I don't think that's what happened at all. I think maybe there was a struggle for the gun, went off. Michael Brown might have got spooked by that, and he went running. And then I think, from what my understanding was that Officer Wilson then pursued him, which I think don't you think he has to? I mean, you can't be assaulted by someone and then just let them walk away.
However you feel towards the police, a cop is in no position to lose a fight against anyone when he's got a badge on.
And think about it from a pedestrian's point of view. If a police officer had just let this guy, who he thinks might have robbed a store, who just assaulted him, just tried to steal a deadly weapon off of him, you can't let that guy just walk off into the night.
Yeah,
you have to pursue him, and you have to engage him and try to at least arrest him. And unfortunately for Michael Brown, the worst case scenario happened, and this is where it gets really, it's split down the middle 50-50. You're either with the rest of the community who says he was executed by the officer, or you're with the police where he says he killed him in self-defense. There's no video. There's only eyewitness testimony. How do you make a decision?
I don't make a decision. I'm still just trying to figure out what the hell went on. And obviously people want to make a big spectacle of it. I mean, you should protest when a cop shoots a civilian, period. I mean, he's got non-lethal weapons on his belt. I mean, broken eye socket or not, he could have fucking tased him, hit him with a stick.
I think the least charge they can get him for would be excessive force.
That's what tells the tale. See, I'm not going to make a decision based on what happened and what all the information that's out there now, because to me it's a little too hazy. But what comes after the grand jury and what decision they make on this guy, that's when I'm kind of going to understand exactly what happened. Like, if he gets off, I'm going to say, well, obviously the cops are going to side with the cop.
Yeah.
And maybe he did it on purpose. Maybe it was a good shooting, but who knows? 'Cause no one was fucking there. And there's all these people, all these news reporters on Twitter that have the same credibility as me right now, which is jack fucking none, basically putting their own opinion on the situation and swaying people.
Yeah, these people who put this stuff on Twitter, especially news reporters who are working for legit outfits. You got to figure, if they're judging a guy on Twitter, their opinion has to be below whale shit. It's come on.
It's everything that their editor wouldn't publish, probably, because, then that's them building their own rep. So, if they're working for whatever post, they can maybe up themselves to another fucking paper or something like that, because papers are going down the shitter anyway.
All right. Well, I want to, and the other thing I really wanted to get to before we're out of time, I really wanted to talk about the looting, and then you get people like Al Sharpton coming in to rile everything up.
What's he saying?
It's appropriate.
He actually, I tell you what, in his favor, I do not like him. I think he does more harm than good, and I think
he's just an opportunist.
He's like throwing gasoline on a fire in a situation like this.
He loves it when something bad happens to a black person, because he just automatically takes the spotlight. Meanwhile,
why
I just don't like how he
just
uses
email
every
sent.
opportunity to put himself up on a podium and give a
fundraise
speech.
And but and then the looting was absolutely ridiculous. And then there's the whole topic of I think what people were shocked by was the way the police came out in force and the way they looked. I mean, they looked like they were in the middle of Baghdad or something like that. They didn't look like they were in any United States city.
Yeah, police state shit is no new thing to us.
Yeah, and that's not new at all. I mean,
probably have a doctorate in conspiracy theories and New World Order.
Anyone who thinks that this is a new thing, I mean, it's not good. I'm not saying that it's a positive thing, and it is bad. But go look at the G20 protests in Pittsburgh.
Occupy, even.
In 2007. Take a look at some of the hardware they had back then.
Yeah.
And, it's, if anything, I think that it was more ominous and impressive.
Well, I mean, they've been cops have been going out with like acoustic weaponry.
Yeah,
they've been doing that in the early 2000s.
And I think we just found out too when we were doing a little research that the grand jury actually started on August 20th. I think it was, right?
Yeah, August 20th.
August 20th. And didn't they say they might not have a decision until the middle of October?
No, actually, what it did say was, we hope that we will be done presenting evidence by the middle of October.
God. So we're in a. I mean, this is going to be one of those things that's
it's going to be drawn out for a very long
years,
time,
probably.
And I don't know. I think there's a strong possibility, not even a strong possibility. It's going to reignite protests and all this other shit.
It's not good.
Once it comes back in the news of whatever ruling is going on. Because if he goes to court, then it's an even bigger ordeal.
Yeah.
And that it's probably going to be an even bigger case than Trayvon just because it's the second one that happened.
Right.
How long?
And I tell you what, I really, we felt like we had to talk about it. And because it's just such a big deal. And it's so, it's if you watch the news at all, you're going to hear about it every day.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be that way. Maybe for the next couple of weeks. They had Robin Williams kill himself, but he was buried and gone within 48 hours of this happening.
Yeah,
nobody gave a shit about him anymore.
Yeah, no one gives a shit about Robin Williams anymore. But
honestly,
though he was the man.
I didn't even care when I heard.
Really?
Yeah, it's like
I thought he was a funny stand-up.
Good Morning Vietnam. Get out
live at the Met.
Get out of here.
Fuck off. He was funny.
I'm not saying he wasn't funny.
His stand-up was really funny.
I tell you what,
good.
I was doing Robin Williams jokes at a bar when I found out, and people were not responding well to them. I was doing jokes. I don't know. I kept saying to people, "Oh, you heard Robin Williams died, right?" And they said, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "Yeah, he got stompled on by like a herd of giraffes." I kept like going back to like movie roles that he had, like he fell on a prosthetic hook hand. People were not in the joking mood though. I mean, it was literally hours after it happened, so I guess I could have waited a little bit longer. Maybe in a couple years it'll be funny.
I would think that Robin Williams would think that was funny.
I would like to think so too. In his honor, why? I don't know. Why be such a drag?
Yeah, I mean, he was a comic, and comics get jokes on them so many times.
Right. How many Richard Pryor jokes were there when he lit himself? I mean, he didn't die from it, but
they would light a match and say, "This is Richard Pryor running down the street."
Oh my God! But I mean, I guess people will miss him too. Who cares? But I thought this was more important, and the thing that pisses me off about Robin Williams. I was like, yeah, okay, he was an actor, people liked him, whatever, he killed himself, he had a lot of success, he was having money troubles. It's like, come on, there's so many more pressing issues, and ISIS is taking over the Middle East and slaughtering Christians and other religious minorities and crucifying people and decapitating children, and I'm supposed to give a flying fuck about Robin Williams swinging from a belt in his garage?
The thing, my whole theory about Robin Williams was that he just he relapsed.
I just had a panic attack. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
I thought the audacity froze. I was like,
froze.
oh my fuck, 20 minutes.
Yeah, he was doing drugs and liquor and coke for a long time. Then he quit. Then he relapsed, and then he quit, and then he relapsed again.
Yeah,
and I think he was 63 or something like that. And he probably just went, you know what?
Fuck it.
This is still how it is. Fuck it.
And it was sad. I mean, he had, I can't remember what his wife came out and said. I think he had Parkinson's, his wife came out and said.
Yeah, and that's another factor. That's another reason why if I was 60, still relapsing on alcohol, this is how it still is.
I had a real hard time caring. I know how it sounds, but
comedians have a pretty decent suicide rate.
Like he's
Richard
the first,
Jeni.
Like he's the first comedian or entertainer to ever kill himself. Like it's some like big shocking thing. It's whatever. Move on. Feel bad for his family. Get over it.
Yeah. I guess
there's bigger issues at hand here, and I think that's why you want to listen to the Lee and Chris podcast, because we tackle those bigger issues right in the bunghole.
Sometimes
we talk about nothing.
Other times we fail.
Yeah, miserably.
I could give two fucks less, to be honest. I do this for the peptides. Peptides is what your body produces when you do something you really like.
Amen. See, there you go.
I produce more and more peptides.
And hopefully everybody who listens and subscribes to the goddamn channel, which is something I guess I have to say or else people won't do it.
Mm-hmm. You will get more peptides.
I got to get peptides, and we want you to have peptides.
Robert Anton Wilson was not wrong about much.
No.
Or I think. I don't know. But he was right about peptides. And you need more peptides in your life.
I don't even know what peptides are.
When you do something you like, work that you really like to do, your body releases peptides. And
are you trying to say endorphins?
Peptides.
Okay. I've heard of endorphins.
They're peptides.
I believe you.
It's what your body produces, and you feel really, really good without drugs.
I'll take your word for it. What about liquor?
No need if you got peptides.
Well, then we should do this every day.
Yeah, but, sometimes we can't, and it takes a long drive to get up here, so...
It takes like 20 or whatever.
Liquor is the answer sometimes, but liquor can also intensify the peptides.
Yes, that was my only source of peptides for a long time.
And there we go.
Well, I don't know, dude. I'm satisfied with what we've talked about. Are you ready to wrap this baby up?
I think we're fine.
Wrap this hush puppy up?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, you heard Chris say it, not me. We're wrapping this hush puppy up. Have a good week.
That wasn't making any sense.
That's peptides.